Good morning. Just want to welcome you here this morning or whenever you happen to tune in. I'm happy to have you here this morning. My name is Cortney Heerwald, and it's my week to do Wednesday devotional, so here I am. And I hope that you are doing well. And if not, I hope that this time can be a little break or reprieve for you, just to spend some time in the presence of God as we join together. I'm going to try to keep it shorter this time, just to give us a chance to take something with us into our day. Feel free to say hello in the comments if you are here with me live. I'd love to know who's with me, and if you hop on later, I'd love to say hello to you as well. So feel free to say hello in the comments. I'm just going to start by having us take a breath, and just as we take time to enter this time and to pause and be still. This is an opportunity for us to just invite God's presence into whatever it is that we might be facing in this day or in this moment, and to just calm ourselves. And as a prayer I've been praying lately says that we would be able to recenter our scattered senses on the presence of God. So let's do that together now. Feel free to just take a few deep breaths. God, we just thank you for your presence here. We thank you that no matter where we are, we can pause and be still and know that you are with us. God, we just thank you for the many ways that you make yourself known to us. And so we just pray that as we set this small amount of time aside to focus on you, that you would encourage our hearts, and that you would help us to just be aware of your presence with us in this moment. We just offer this time to you. Amen. So, welcome. I'm just going to share a little bit. As the title of this says, I've been thinking a lot about, the idea of being present with God's presence. And so part of that is just taking time to rest and be still, and to be aware that God's presence is always with us. So I just want to invite us to do that. And invite you to think about that today too, that we invite God's presence to be with us as a way of reminding ourselves that God's presence is in fact with us already. And so I don't know about you, but I often need to refocus myself on that truth as I go through my day, and things get busy and crazy sometimes. And so one way that I've found to be helpful for me is even just to take a moment to look out the window. I don't know if you are maybe at work, maybe you don't have a window, maybe you need to step outside for a minute or something, but especially at this time of the year, there's so much beauty that we're surrounded by. And just with the changing of leaves, I don't know, it's a beautiful time in my mind anyways. And sometimes it's just important for me to think about, wow, like, no matter what's going on in my life right now, when I look outside and I see, even if you're in the middle of the city or something, there are things to be seen that bring joy. There are things to be seen that bring awe. Maybe it's just a bird flying by. Maybe it's just looking up at the sky and seeing the clouds, or just being aware that, the things that God has created are all around us. Sometimes you might even find that just in people watching, as you see just the diversity of things that God has placed in the world around us. Sometimes you just need to take a moment to pause and to be aware that God is actually showing God's self all around us. And so for me, that can be a good way to kind of refocus myself on the things that are most important, and to know that no matter what might be going on in my life in that moment, the most important thing is, sorry about that, the most important thing is that we are breathing, we are alive, we are surrounded by beauty, and God is with us. And so I just wanted to read for us today from Psalm 131, and it's very short, so you can just take a moment to listen to that as I read it. And what I love about this psalm is that it does remind us to focus on the things that are important, to quiet ourselves. And so I'm just going to read that right now. So this is Psalm 131. It says, Lord, my heart is not proud, my eyes are not haughty. I don't concern myself with matters too great or too awesome for me to grasp. Instead, I have calmed and quieted myself like a weaned child who no longer cries for its mother's milk. Yes, like a weaned child is my soul within me. It says, O Israel, put your hope in the Lord now and always. And so, while this poem seems to, psalm, it's poem also, what this speaks to me in a lot of ways is not that we aren't to, be in awe, or to be, God doesn't want us to be thinking about great things. And I mean, I'm a thinker. I think about stuff all the time, but sometimes it's necessary to calm ourselves in this way and to not concern ourselves with all of the chaos around us. It doesn't mean that we aren't to be concerned at all about those things, but sometimes we need to take a moment to refocus, so that God can actually show us and remind us of who we are, so that we can go back out into the world and into those things that are challenging around us, and actually have more of the mind of Christ, and as we go into those things. So it says, instead, I have calmed and quieted myself like a weaned child who no longer cries for its mother's milk. And so it's this idea of contentment, this idea of calmness and quiet and peace, and centering ourselves on the truth that God is with us always. And as it says, we put our hope in the Lord now and always. So this awareness of God's presence right with us in this moment is what actually can fuel us to keep going through the challenges of life. And so I just want to leave us with that today too. And again, that was Psalm 131. And it's just a reminder to me sometimes that, okay, God, I'm not going to be just consumed with all of the things that I can't control right now, all the things that are crazy in the world. I want to have the heart of God for those things. But right now, God, I'm like so focused on all these other things that I've forgotten who you created me to be. And I've maybe forgotten who I am in this moment, in this time, in this place. So I'm just going to say a prayer for us as we go out, just that we would be reminded of God's presence right here, right now, where we are, and that, you would know that God is with you right in this moment. So God, we just thank you that you are with us, that you are for us. And God, I pray that today you would give us an opportunity to just quiet ourselves, to quiet our minds. And God, would you give us an opportunity to even just look out the window for a few moments, just to contemplate the beauty of fall, the beauty of the things that you have created, maybe to take a step outside and just take a few deep breaths, and be aware of your presence with us. God, I pray that as we do that, Lord, you would give us a peace and a calm in our souls that we recognize can only come from you. And God, as you fill us with your peace, as you fill us with that stillness and that awareness of you with us, God, that we would be able to go back into whatever our day holds for us, holding that knowledge with us, and that would just be evident to people that we meet and in the situations we find ourselves in. Maybe we would help us to be a little more kind, help us to be a little bit more aware of the needs of others, or just be a little bit more humble in situations, God. We just pray that that Christ-likeness, that your presence with us, God, would spill out into the places that we move today. God, we just thank you that you've given us breath. It's in you that we live and move and have our being. That's what your word says, God. So help us remind us of your presence today in this present moment. God, we just thank you for who you are. We thank you that you love us so very, very much. And we love you, God. Thank you. And I just want to pray this prayer from the Lexio 365 app that I have, because I think it's a good way to send us into our day. So, Father, help us to live this day to the full, being true to you in every way. Jesus, help us to give ourselves away to others, being kind to everyone we meet. And Spirit, help us to love the lost, proclaiming Christ in all we do and say. Amen. Well, thank you for joining me this morning or whenever you do. I hope that you have a great day, and I hope that you get a moment to focus yourself during the day and to be reminded of God's presence with you in whatever moment you find yourself in. So have a great day and blessings. Hopefully I will get to see you soon. Bye.